News tonight at exactly 8 p.m. Thank you so much for tuning in. A very good evening. My name is Sharon Kyomugisha with Yusuf Senyomo on sign language. We'll take a look at our top stories of the day. In UBC News tonight, Premier Nabanja promises quality service delivery. COVID-19 campaign is a collective affair. And still to come, man sets own house on fire and kills 4 people. COVID-19 cases in Africa surpassed 5 million mark in our international stories. Welcome once again to UBC News tonight. In our top stories of the day, the new Prime Minister, who is also the woman Member of Parliament, Kakomiro Nabanja, has promised loyalty to the appointing authority and a country beyond expectations. Nabanja says as soon as the vetting committee of Parliament completes its job, she will get down to work and promise to promote unity, cohesion and honesty among other development-related issues. Details follow.
The recently appointed Prime Minister, who is also the woman Member of Parliament, Kakumiro District, Robina Nabanja, has appreciated President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for appointing her the first and promised to perform with distinction in the service of her country. Nabanja, who was previously the Minister of State for Health, General Duties, is also a former MP Great Chibale, RDC Busia, Palisa and Budaka, among others. She was, before her appointment, working as a State Minister for Health. She was also a commissioner in the 10th Parliament. Nabanja also played a big role in Greater Chibale politics, especially in lobbying for the community development projects like health centers, schools, roads, and other poverty alleviation-related projects. Nabanja promised to continue serving the country and communities at all levels and encouraged the appointed ministers that after the vetting committee has done its work, they should together work for the good of all Ugandans and the NRM party.
From far, you know, my CV has come from far, and I believe the experience I have amassed. By the way, for the first time, Uganda has got somebody who is from a peasant background. Background, and that will help me. Because I know the people, I know what we go through in the field. I know what our people go through. Because I lacked school fees, I've gone through all that. I know that our children in Uganda can lack school fees. I did. I did. And therefore, I believe that with God's guidance, with you people, my friends.
She commended President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for giving women a chance to serve their country in top positions and promised to serve to their level best.
Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for the confidence he has put in me, I cannot take him for granted. I want to thank him sincerely for having picked me right from when I was appointed Deputy RDC. The number of districts where I worked, Deputy RDC, then RDC, then Commission of Parliament, and recently for having appointed the Minister of State for Health. Allow me to congratulate the President and my fellow members of Parliament for having been sworn in.
She appealed to Kakumiro residents to work for the common good and give necessary support to foster district development. She asked them to appreciate the area's infrastructure by adding value to their lives. Wadulo Makanold, Focus.
Well, that's our new Prime Minister, Nabanja, who promises quality service delivery once the committee puts everything in place. In more stories, residents of Nakawa Division in Kampala Metropolitan are calling for sensitization and creation of awareness against COVID-19 and is concerned that this call was among the many concerns raised by residents during the COVID-19 door-to-door awareness campaign by Nakawa East Member of Parliament, Engineer Ronald Balimwezo.
The country's health systems continues to be stretched and overwhelmed by the raging COVID-19 infections. According to some reports, the country is recording several COVID-19 positive cases with some deaths, especially within Kampala Metropolitan. The newly elected Member of Parliament, Nakawa East, Engineer Ronald Balimwezo, now wants a collective effort if the country is to step out of this dilemma.
Most of our hospitals are full to capacity, and as you know, our health system is the poorest in the region. We are quite challenged that very soon we may have masses of people die per day in our areas that we could not even manage to bury them. So it is important for us to mitigate. It is important for us to prevent before such occurrences come into play. So that's the reason that we are moving around to sensitize our people.
It is insinuated that Mutungo Parish is almost on a daily basis recording or registering at least one resident who is succumbing to the COVID-19 pandemic. This is calling for a wide and robust approach from local leaders, and as you can see, the area Member of Parliament for Nakawa East, Ronald Balimwezo Nsubuga, is stepping up to create at least some awareness, sensitization, and making sure that there is compliance and adherence to the COVID-19 SOPs.
Tebambala masiki abantu abasinga. Era senga gundi oye member wa for your parliament kugira abantu abasinga tebambala masiki. When the time people are in the campaign, we took it jokingly. We thought that it was a politic issue. Some of us, we were knowing that it was what? It was serious. So people remain knowing that the president is putting this thing because of politics to attract, to disturb the opposition, or not to let them what? To let the people not to get what? The support.
According to the situation we have in Uganda, they are telling us to put on masks, which is a good thing, which makes us to avoid the COVID thing.
To that, majority of our people don't know the effects. Perhaps some of them have not even reached hospitals to know what is happening out there in the hospitals. So they are taking things for granted. It is upon us leaders who have traveled, who have identified the needs, to come out and sensitize our communities that COVID is real, and therefore if they don't take shops as important as they must be, that they will die.
This was during a door-to-door COVID-19 awareness creation campaign conducted in the areas of Mutungo, Chitintari and Mbuya, Kampala suburbs. Robert Onyango, UBC News, Nakawa.
Thank you, Robert Onyango. A local businessman in Mukosa County, RUBANDA, the district formerly of Kabale, has banned his family after endless land and property wrangles. Armstrong Tamaja reportedly locked up his wife Rovina Mhechi with their 3 children before setting the family house on fire. Now, these have been residents of Hisesero Trading Center in Habtore village in Butare Parish, Mukosa County in RUBANDA district. Armstrong has reportedly been at loggerheads with his wife over business and Saturday evening decided to end her life and that of their 3 children. His eldest son, Edwin, of 17 years, was studying at St. Adrian Seminary, Rwanda. A brother, Westlife, had just completed P7 and waiting to join Senior 1, while Edwin, a sister, set to start Senior 2. Disturbing story right there. But moving on from that, religious leaders in Karamoja region have embarked on educating mothers about the benefits of seeking proper maternal and child health care. And Karamoja is one of the regions with a high number of maternal and child mortality, followed by West Nile. Details follow.
Like any other developing country, Uganda is still battling high maternal mortality rate at 343 deaths per 1,000 live births. Some regions like Ramoja are still experiencing high maternal and child mortality. Reverend Colonel Nelson Owiri, the Archdeacon of Lutuke Archdeaconry, Abimu district, says as religious leaders, they have embarked on educating mothers about the benefits of maternal health care services.
And actually, the demand has also increased, not just for the people of Abim, even for the neighbors. And I'm really happy that this facility has come. From Church of Uganda side, we also have Kano Health Center too, which is in Abim sub-county.
But there are extreme places where the health facilities have not been reached, where especially these days people are having resettlement, going back to their camps, and they are leaving the present places where they've been staying, and they are going back to places that they were driven off by insecurity reasons. So it is the challenge now is those ones who are going back.
Achille Hilton, the proprietor of Blessed Land Maternity Home in Abuke Town Council in Abimu district, called on other people to invest in private health facilities to complement government.
From the month of March up to 2 weeks ago, so far we have lost 5 children due to maternal distance. 5 mothers after reaching, because from Abuke Town Council, the nearest health facility is Oramuge Health Center, which is 3 kilometers away from here. The next is Awach Health Center 2, which is 10 kilometers away from here. Then Kiru Health Center 2 is something like 5 kilometers, and then Morulem is 16. So all these 5 mothers lost the 5 children because of the distance when they are going for delivery.
Religious and political leaders in all districts need to work together to push maternal and child health agenda. Adiana Kote, UBC.
In more stories, leaders with the Nile Basin have been challenged to come together and utilize the Nile River as a source of economic development. The 10 countries that share the Nile River can agree on common development agenda to benefit the people. Details further.
Uganda is among the 10 countries that share the Nile River, and this has been described as a big economic potential for the country. The Assistant Commissioner, International and Transboundary Water Affairs in the Ministry of Water and Environment, Sowed Sewagude, confirms that Uganda has not fully utilized the Nile. Commissioner Sewagude cited the area of irrigation, which he says can transform the country's agricultural sector.
We can achieve that by coming up with joint programs. For example, we have a joint program that is developing the Angololo Matapasa Dam on the border of Uganda and Kenya. That is in eastern Uganda. It has a potential of about 3,000 hectares of irrigable land and about 40 million cubic meters of water to be stored behind the dam. But currently, we are doing feasibility studies, and these are joint studies done by consultants, but we review as the 2 countries that are concerned, that is Uganda and Kenya.
Another potential area where countries can collaborate is navigation that can create jobs and ease movement of goods and services.
So we are looking at how can we promote navigation on Lake Albert as well as Edward, that are shared between Uganda and Kenya, and we believe this project could be instrumental, or the follow-up phase of this project could be instrumental in exploiting potential.
The Nile Basin Initiative has encouraged journalists from the 10 countries that share the Nile River to continue highlighting the potential of the Nile water and how people can ensure its quality and sustainable use. To this end, the NILE Basin Initiative continues to recognize journalists for their exceptional reporting on issues concerning the Nile water. This year, Ugandan journalists Sara Natoro of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, Ronald Musoke of The Independent, and Felix Basime of PML were among those recognized.
The journalists play a very crucial role, be it through the print media, be it through TV, be it through radio and other mechanisms. So we really treasure the journalists as our partners in development, because without information reaching the intended people, then you do not achieve your objectives.
The 10 countries sharing the Nile River include Burundi, Democratic Republic of Congo, Egypt, Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan, Sudan, Tanzania and Uganda. Eritrea participates as an observer. Adiana Kote, UBC.
Well, thank you so much, Adiana Kote, for reporting. We'll take a short commercial break and be back with business news only.
In chess, the small one can become the big one. It's the same here. And here too. Watch every move. Record every number so you can plan better. No matter the size of your dream, tomorrow's success belongs to those who keep today's records clean. File your returns today.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Central Points when you deposit, send and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Echa COVID-19 chijja kugwa. If we get vaccinated now, observe social distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly. Together we can defeat this enemy.
In efforts to improve quality assurance and Uganda's competitiveness as a tourist destination, Uganda Tourism Board is set to undertake a nationwide grading and classification exercise of hotel and accommodation facilities. As a member of the East African community, Uganda subscribes to the East African Grading and Classification Criteria, a system denoted by stars ranging from 1 to 5. The grading and classification exercise will be crowned by the awarding of star ratings to facilities found compliant to the EAC minimum status. This is therefore a call to all accommodation and facility owners and managers to register and get licensed by UTB as a requirement and get ready for participation. For more information, visit www.utb.go.ug or email qualityassurance@utb.go.ug for details. Uganda Tourism Board, promoting tourism together.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. In our business stories, metal fabricators have commended the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda initiative that is aimed at promoting homemade commodities. However, metal fabricators have also encouraged Ugandan factories to improve on the quality standards of goods manufactured and the UNBS to continue monitoring exercises of commodities made in factories.
The Managing Director, Mutebi Metalworks, has thanked government for the conducive environment in the subsector of small-scale industries, which has boosted support to a number of youth. Haji Rashid Mutebi pleaded for the continued monitoring of commodities manufactured from factories in the country, mainly iron bars, iron sheets, steel and tube, among others, for quality standards.
Of undergauge, I mean it, and it is right in Uganda here, whereby even if we are producing a plate or a pipe which is under gauge, that means you're stealing your residence. A Ugandan, if I'm selling a material to a Ugandan which is under gauge, that means I'm cheating myself, I'm cheating my world. What I could advise the government to look into the UNBS. UNBS has not done anything.
He also appealed to government to support small-scale industries that are now engaging many youth, saying over 150 work and train in his fabrication facility, which needs expansion.
To work with the government and help the youth, because we are looking at job creation. If I'm creating a job and I've put a bridge, where have you helped me? You're just breaking a bridge, or you're just building a bridge. So I want the government to build that bridge. The moment we teach these guys around, so that they can go with something whereby they can be what they call a startup, like a machine, like a grinder, not just to keep someone around like...
For over the 20 years, he has been engaged in fabricating windows, doors, gates, school beds, among others, and training the youth from various areas across the country.
Like someone who's new to, who doesn't know something, but after that, after coming here, I started learning. I always showed up to now. Then I've been awarded with the certificate. We have awarded the certificate now. Here I can now manage to survive life. I can rent my own house. To the government to come down to the youths and raise them with some money so that they can also do their own businesses. So as long as they have gained their experience and talent, so they can settle their problems.
The youth appreciated the government initiative of Buy Uganda, Build Uganda, and encouraging Ugandans to emphasize buying commodities made in Uganda and appeal to UNBS to work with factories for standard produce. Sudat Kari.
Found in southwestern Uganda, about 400 kilometers from Kampala, Queen Elizabeth National Park is Uganda's second largest and most popular conservation area by far. Sitting on 700 square mile land area, the park is the most visited of the 10 national parks and 13 conservation areas in the country. The park is currently experiencing a wildlife boom with 618 bird species, which is the 6th highest diversity in the world and highest in Africa. In addition, 10 primate species like chimpanzees, Congo lions, African leopards, elephants, buffaloes, and hippopotamus. The chief Queen Elizabeth Conservation Area, Pontius Zuma, says the elephant species have surpassed the 3,953 mark registered before COVID-19, and the buffaloes are now of 1,700.
Still easy based on our wildlife. So that calls for our concerted effort to continue to protect the wildlife we have so that we harness it for the development of this country.
The wildlife boom is being attributed to reduction in poaching after regular sensitization meetings between Uganda Wildlife Authority and communities surrounding the national park. A resident of the area, Ngudi Erzafan, says communities have changed their attitude towards poaching and tree-cutting because of sufficient sensitization.
We're working hard to lobby all agencies concerned so that all those areas access electricity. So that has been one of our main issues as far as the forum is concerned.
The acting chairperson, Kasese Tourism Investors Forum, Martin Baruku, wants Uganda Wildlife Authority to create a special fund for continuous awareness creation on conservation of wildlife, especially among reformed poachers.
Not only here, but it can be some other national parks. They should always at least try by all means to protect those animals. And because if they kill them, it means the next generation, people won't be like experiencing what I've experienced.
Tourists appreciate the government for putting more efforts in the tourism sector and want communities around the national parks to protect wildlife as they conserve for generations.
Of course, due to this increased wildlife numbers, there are animals like the elephants that have big footprint. They definitely have impact with the communities where in the neighborhood.
Queen Elizabeth National Park is one of the places that justify the description of Uganda being the pearl of Africa in the eyes of a former UK Premier, Winston Churchill, for its exceptional beautiful landscape and diverse plant and animal life. Abimana Deo, reporting for UBC News.
Steve,
Leader of the centrist Yair Lapid party, Yair Lapid signed final joint governance agreements with 7 other parties on Friday and now await a final vote of approval from Parliament on Sunday, which will form a new Israeli government if passed. According to the coalition agreement, Naftali Bennett, leader of the right-wing Yamina party, will first assume the post of Prime Minister until 2023, and then Lapid will take over the post till November 2025. Lapid announced last week that he reached a deal to form a coalition government with nationalist Naftali Bennett, leader of the pro-settler party of Yamina, and 6 additional smaller parties. If approved by the country's parliament or Knesset, the new government would end the 12-year rule of Netanyahu, the country's longest-serving prime minister. The new government will also become the first government in Israel's history to have an Arab party in power. Israel held its 4th parliamentary election in 2 years on March 23rd of this year. Now, the return of the Safari Rally to the World Rally Championship calendar has rejuvenated interest in motorsport across Kenya. The Safari Rally will make its much-anticipated return to the WRC calendar from June 24th to 27th after last year's edition was postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The iconic event, dubbed the world's toughest rally, was the crown jewel on the WRC calendar until 2002, when it was withdrawn from the roster due to the lack of government financial guarantees and safety concerns. The Safari Rally endeared motorsports to millions of Kenyans in its heyday, including driver Kirit Rajput, who picked up interest after having been inspired to the sport by his friends. Rajput races alongside his son Yuvraj and daughter Kiana, mostly in autocross events. Now Rajput's children also have big dreams and ambitions in the sport. The return of the Safari Rally to the WRC may motivate more Kenyan families like the Rajputs to engage in the sport. Before we sign out, we'll take one final look at the news headlines. In UBC today, Premier Nabanja promises quality service delivery. COVID-19 campaign is a collective affair. Man sets house on fire and kills 4 people. COVID-19 cases in Africa surpass 5 million mark. Well, thank you so much for watching UBC News tonight at 8 p.m. with me, Sharon Kyomugisha, and Yusuf Senyumo on sign language. We'll take, well, that's all we had for you for now. Do join us again at 10 p.m. for One News Canada. Have a good night.